Hello and welcome again for another episode of Kanan's Cadence, the show where I talk about my interests, hobbies, and experiences at my own pace with my own rhythm. Hope everyone's been having a good November so far. Enjoying what is sporadically fall-like weather, intermixed with some kind of really cold, almost winter-esque days. Just out here on Long Island, a handful of days ago, we had a good amount of snow, not snow accumulating, but it was cold enough one day, just randomly earlier in the week, where all of a sudden we started to get a lot of snowfall. Couple separate times across a stretch of a few hours, I want to say. And my goodness, the last time, and I said it a bunch that day, the last time that I'd seen snow this early in November, when I wasn't studying at college in a tundra, was probably when I was a kid, no doubt. Like I was probably around like 9 or 10 years old, something like that. It's been a long, long time since early November. I remember at the very least, and from what I heard, a lot of people were kind of agreeing with me on that. It's been some time. Um, Lately, it's been so warm throughout even like the fall and winter, or like early winter at the very least, that we would get almost no snowfall. Sometimes if it started to snow at any point, it wouldn't be until we were already into, I want to say, January, maybe early February, something like that. I think last year was the first time in a long time that I remember it snowing in December over by my home. That shouldn't be a rarity, but it has been. It's just been really, really warm the last few years. But I guess this is a sign. Maybe it's a sign that maybe winter is going to start getting colder. Maybe if we're lucky, we might see some snow on Christmas. Maybe not. Probably not. I One of these days in my lifetime, I do want to see actual snow fall on Christmas, not just residual snow left over that's all like dirty and gross looking and all that type of stuff from days prior. But no, I want to see actual snowfall on Christmas Day, like we would see in movies and all that type of stuff. Movies that I've been seeing since I was a kid. Oh boy! And now while I'm on the topic of movies, may as well get into today's topic. So, um, let's flash back a little bit. Just a day. I'm at work talking with a couple of my coworkers, working in a music store. I've said before, and I don't remember exactly how it happened, but someone made a reference to The Godfather. I think that someone had a mandolin, and my other coworker was just like, "Oh, play the thing from The Godfather," and they both turned to me, and they're making the reference, and I'm just kind of staring at them, just like, "Uh huh, yeah, cool." And then it's just like, "You haven't seen The Godfather," and I'm just like, I know." The Godfather, especially as it's a film that's been with my family for a long time. My parents love the film. Um, I've never seen it, and yeah, I haven't seen a lot of movies that I realistically should have seen at this point in time. Most anyone who knows me probably has you, and like don't lie. Most of you probably have a film that you're just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that you haven't watched that yet." Like if we've had the conversation, most likely I've said something to allude to the fact or even just be very explicit in saying, "Hey, I have not seen XYZ film that I know I should have seen. It has all these references and all that type of stuff." A lot of the time the references that I get, I just haven't seen the movie myself. And I honestly I don't have a good excuse for that, as has been becoming even more clear for me over the last few years. So I decided for today, I'm just like, you know what? It's bound to happen eventually. I have so many people who are just like, "Hey, how have you not seen this? I'm gonna make sure you watch it." And then I'll also say, you almost never do. Almost never do. I don't think that I've had many people actually come and be like, "You know what? We're watching this movie that you're supposed to see." Most of the time, it's just given to me as homework, and I don't like homework. I don't know that anyone likes homework, so I'll watch them whenever I feel like it. But anyway, so let me talk about just a handful. I have a little list of some of the more common ones that I've gotten over the course of my life. And then I also want to talk a little bit about films that I have seen, because yes, I do actually watch movies. I do hold myself as someone who enjoys watching movies, even if I haven't seen a lot of the ones that I should see. But let's start there anyway. So I'd already said The Godfather. That, yeah, like I've gotten that for years at this point. I've gotten so many references. I make a handful of references just based on stuff that I hear, lines that I know are iconic, and I've never seen the film. Just never seen the film itself. Like my mom loves the film so much. I remember years ago, Um, she had purchased one of which we still have, like these little, like, not, they're not real jack-o'-lanterns, but for Halloween decorations, these carved jack-o'-lantern type things. One of them is carved with Michael Jackson from the Thriller music video, which that's the one that we still have, and the other one was from The Godfather, from what I remember. And I remember looking at that and I'm just like, hey mom, what's that? And she's just like, what do you mean what's that? I'm just like, I don't know who that is. She's like, you've never seen The Godfather? You've never heard me talk about The Godfather? I'm like, no, I've heard you talk about it, I just haven't seen it. So I'll put that on the list. And that's also something that I'm going to do. I realize I have, as many times as I'm just like, oh, I'll put this on the list. And I never really end up doing that. I decided that after I'm done recording this one, I'm actually going to jot down and start keeping track of movies that I'm told that I should watch so that I can actually finally start just like knocking them off the bucket list sort of thing, and hopefully take a couple of watching eyes and maybe some targets off my back. So we'll do that. But The Godfather, I will put that on my list. I'll get to that one of these days. Now, as we just passed Halloween, I realized that there are a couple of I want to say, like, quote unquote, either Halloween themed movies or ones that are like horror movies, kind of Halloween adjacent, or in the case of this one, literally just named for the holiday. The John Carpenter film Halloween. Somehow I've never seen that one, in spite of the fact that I've actually done, like, when I was in college, studying music, I did a full musical analysis of the theme from Halloween, as part of a research paper that I did when I was nearing the end of my bachelor's degree. And I got questions after I did that analysis of just like, oh man, like, that, isn't that such a great movie? It has a phenomenal theme, right? I'm just like, yeah, the theme is great. Never seen the movie. And they're just like, seriously? Like, why not? Why not? Like, I have a couple reasons for why I've never watched this one. And then just to cut to the chase, I put this one paired with another one on the list, Friday the 13th. Usually when I think of one, I think of the other. I guess by that logic, I could also say A Nightmare on Elm Street just to keep it going. Yeah, I never watched any of those films, but my reasoning for never having seen these ones in particular, aside from when I was really hearing about them quite a lot when I was young, and I had, um, I would like to believe I live in a responsible family. I had parents and older siblings who didn't want to show me films that were going to have like slashers and stuff like that. Um, Once I was like a teenager, that excuse kind of just went right out the window, and I just never got on it myself. But my main reason why I've never seen any of those, um, and it's like, you can call them slasher films. You can. Some people would say horror film. I personally think that horror can like go so many different ways. So it's like, yeah, it can be horror. It can be like kind of campy horror type thing. I don't know that A Nightmare on Elm Street, from what I understand, is like really, really supposed to be that scary, just given how much of like a goofball Freddy Krueger seems to be. Again, this is still from the perspective of someone who hasn't seen it. If I'm just adding another target to my back right now, I'm not sorry. But anyway, like, horror movies have just never been they've never been my cup of tea. Not because they scare me, but a lot of the time it's just because I'm like, I don't get the appeal most of the time. Like, it's like there's a sense of adrenaline that comes with it, and like, that much I understand. But the types of horror films that I would really find myself enjoying are the ones that like mess with your mind and all that type of stuff. Um, the opinions of the film are mixed, but I have seen A Quiet Place, the first one at the very least, that came out a handful of years back. I don't remember exactly when that one was. And I like that one. I like the concept because it was different. Not a lot of spoken dialogue in that film, and not a lot of sound from the actual characters, because that was the whole point of the movie, is to just keep within the quiet and keep from being too loud, so that you don't have these like these creatures, whatever they were, I don't remember, come after you once they hear the sounds that you're making. Any type of sound is the thing. And I thought that was interesting. Again, like, I know people who weren't too into that film. That one I liked more because it felt like the suspense was just like layered on thick. Maybe that's one of the reasons why people didn't like it, is they were just like, oh no, it felt like too forced or something like that. But me personally, I enjoyed that type of suspense where it was really like, okay, well, if anything, like, even if it's like an actual pin drops on like a wooden floor, that's enough to get you killed. Like, that sort of thing, I'm just like, okay, that's scary. And I enjoy that type of build up. But to go back to the other ones, just like the slashers and stuff like that, where it's like you have this, in the case of Friday the 13th, at the very least, I'm not sure about the other ones really. You have this like group of camp counselors or whatever it is, these characters that really are like, they're like typical horror film protagonists is the way that I kind of picture them, just doomed from the start, just there really to be a target for Jason Voorhees and all that type of stuff. Like that sort of thing has just never really interested me. Like there is more of like a nostalgia factor, I guess, that comes with that film and the others as time goes on. I've just never been too interested in the idea of Friday the 13th itself, as much as I nowadays with like all the pop culture stuff and like whatever. I'm just like, if a month starts on a Sunday, then I'm like, oh, that means that second Friday of the month is going to be a 13th and all that type of stuff. That I will be like, oh no, it's Friday the 13th. Ooh, but that's as someone who's still, again, never seen the film and never been all that interested in the film. I'll watch it one of these days, but like it's not like top priority for me. Halloween though, I more like the idea of Michael Myers and all that type of stuff. Just again based on what I know and the theme, that kind of is a draw for me to that particular type of movie. So again, like those are ones I'll put them on the list so that this way I can actually formulate a proper opinion one of these days. Moving along, I want to say like this isn't Halloween, but like it ties into Halloween nowadays and all that type of stuff. Ghostbusters. I have never seen any Ghostbusters film. More specifically, more importantly, I've never seen the original Ghostbusters film. And I I have people like as recently as maybe like just a week ago telling me like, "Oh, you got to watch Ghostbusters. Have you seen Ghostbusters yet?" And this goes back years and all that type of stuff. I just haven't. I like the idea of it being like a campy comedy horror type movie, and like I don't even know that it's like horror. Like I'm not sure. Again, like the fact that I don't know much about the movie itself, I don't know if that's even how people would describe it. Like I know that it's like a comedy. I like the guys who are in it. Bill Murray is always like a really funny actor. Like he's the main one that I know from that and like other things, but like from what I've seen, like the entire cast, the main cast of Ghostbusters in that are really cool. And then obviously, um, the theme, like not I guess not the main Ghostbusters theme, but like the popular one. The song I think it's by Ray Parker. I believe I have that name right. The song that everyone associates with Ghostbusters like immediately. That song has been like everywhere since I was a kid. And again, I was never like too into the idea of watching the film when I was young. It wasn't until I started getting older and had a lot more people saying like, "Wow, you still haven't seen that, huh?" And I guess it was because around the time that I was graduating high school was when they were coming back with Ghostbusters films, actual quality notwithstanding. Again, haven't seen any of those, but I hear like conflicting things about like the recent Ghostbusters films. Like any of them, I think at least two or three of them have come out in recent years, and I haven't heard anyone say anything like awful about them, but I also haven't heard anyone say anything great about them either. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll get to those eventually, but that first one is probably the one that I can just watch and stick with for some time. I've done that with some other series that I still haven't fully finished where I'm like, okay, well, the first one is the one that I know the most about. It's the one that everyone says that I should see. So then I do that, like Pirates of the Caribbean. Like I've watched Curse of the Black Pearl, but I haven't yet gone and watched the rest of the films. And I saw Curse of the Black Pearl maybe 2 years ago or something like that. One of these days, I'll get to the rest of that series. Never been too interested in like finishing it out because I know that I've heard at the very least. And this is the other thing. I hear a lot of stuff about these films. I don't know. I don't personally know a whole lot about them, and I like formulating my own opinions on them without being overly reliant on the opinions of others there. But especially as I get older and my free time is more scattered, it is more important for me to watch films that I know I'm going to enjoy first, prioritize those, and then maybe pull it back. Eventually, when I have some more time, watch the ones that come after just to see for myself what they're like and for my own opinions. But again, like those ones can usually wait a bit. But so yeah, Ghostbusters, that's one. Jurassic Park, this one comes up a whole lot for me as well and has since I was a kid. Yep, still haven't seen Jurassic Park. I don't know how well that one stacks against like some of the other films that I know I need to watch. Because I don't hear a whole lot of people talk about them. Maybe it's because like even to this day, like that Jurassic series is still coming out with movies. Like just recently, I think that there was just another Jurassic World film. If they're still called Jurassic World, I don't even know if the series itself has changed names again. But the one that started it all, the original Jurassic Park, no, I've never seen that. Never been like a huge like dinosaur guy or anything like that. And again, like the concept of the film, like I know like the iconic scene with like the T-Rex like chasing them down when they're in the car at night and all that type of stuff. Yes, that I've seen and that I'm more than familiar with. But beyond just like the musical aspects of the movie, I've never seen it. I remember I bought the original trilogy for my dad on DVD years ago for Christmas. And I don't think that he ever watched them. I could have taken it from him and like gone and watched them myself, but again, I just wasn't all that interested. So I'm like, okay, well, eventually I'll come back around. Jurassic Park, I can do that at some point then too. And then the last two that I have here for right now, especially because we're approaching the end of the year, so like holiday season is right around the corner. Two Christmas films that yeah, and how I've avoided these ones all this time, I honestly don't know, especially with how many people have actively tried to show them to me. But the original Home Alone and the original Christmas Story, never once seen either of those films. As many times as I know that Christmas Story, like, I don't know if they still do it, but like on cable, um, I know that there's a channel that would air Christmas Story like basically nonstop all throughout December. And I'd heard about that as recently as maybe just like a few months ago. So I guess it is still a thing. I don't personally have cable, but when I did, I don't know how I avoided that one. I know a lot of stuff from A Christmas Story, and that concept was run into the ground like not too long after the film had come out, just because of how popular it got, from what I understand. I will watch it one of these days. I like the idea. I like the idea of it being like just this little film, but it's like it's a little film that is no longer all that little because of how much its popularity has spiked. And I know that it came out like decades ago at this point, and I'm not the first person to make that type of connection, but like I know I want to see it again on my own terms one of these days. I'll choose to watch it when I choose to. Maybe this Christmas, maybe not, for another reason that I'll get to in just a couple minutes here. But the other one that I connect to Christmas, and again I've been told to watch. Well, yeah, I said already, Home Alone, the original Home Alone. I haven't watched it as yet. Make a lot of references to it. I know a lot of stuff from it. It's been parodied to hell and back, I want to say. And yet, again, same sort of thing. Like it would air on TV a whole lot when I was a kid. Now, again, like I don't have the excuse because I do have access to streaming and all that type of stuff. It's on Disney Plus, and it's been there since I got Disney Plus. I just haven't watched it. And like there are, I guess, if I was going to try and find out like a reason or like get to the bottom of like a reason why films like those I haven't watched, is because when I was a kid, especially like stuff that was like just completely down to earth wasn't exactly appealing to me. Like I wanted to see like a lot of like high flying action and all that type of stuff. And Home Alone, Christmas Story, like they're nice films, but like they're very down to earth. Like they're goofy, and all that type of stuff. But like I just wasn't really interested. But Home Alone, especially more than Christmas Story, I want to say like that one does. That one interests me. It still interests me, and I do plan to watch it. None of its sequels. I really don't want to see any of its sequels. Don't care how people feel about Home Alone 2 personally. I just don't want to watch it. That's just me. Like maybe one day, but for right now I'm good with sticking with the original. Um so now I mean just like yeah, so that's just a handful, and I'm sure that there are a ton of movies that no, there are a ton of movies that I definitely won't be able to touch upon within the stretch of this episode. That can be saved for another time, and I'm always open for suggestions. Just please make sure that you dial it back when you bring me those suggestions. If you're too gung ho, I might try to avoid. And that's actually, as I'm thinking of it, that's another reason. Sometimes I just want to watch something because I want to watch something. But when I have any number of people coming to me with the same thing, like, oh, you got to watch this, you got to watch this, and it's like, oh, it's so good and whatever. Like I don't like having my opinion swayed. And if all these people are saying that something is like really, really good, and they're all saying at the same time, I feel like I'm gonna go into it with either my expectations raised, waiting to be a little disappointed, or I'm going to go into them with my expectations a little lowered, and then kind of maybe disappoint myself there. And that's kind of just who I am. Like whether it's movies, TV shows, video games, books, whatever it is. If too many people are into something at the same time, I usually try to like stay on the sidelines until the hype dies down a little bit. That's why I'm not usually up to speed with stuff that's popular right now because I try to avoid it. I want to wait. I want to experience it for myself. I don't want to have stuff spoiled. I don't want to have stuff oversold. I don't want to have stuff undersold, is the thing. Like, I just want to take it all in for how it is. And, like, that's how I do things. But anyway, I'm just like, there are movies that I have seen, and I've been getting better with watching more stuff that I know that I should watch. Um, and one of the ways that I've been doing this, a couple you know about this, like I've over the last couple Christmases, last couple of Decembers, I can speak. I'm a podcaster. Last couple of Decembers, I have done something that I didn't come up with the name, I didn't come up with the idea, but the concept is called Disney December. And I got this idea from a YouTuber that I've been into since I was young. His name is Doug Walker. He does a show called The Nostalgia Critic. It's not in his Nostalgia Critic persona that he does this Disney December thing, though. He just does it as himself. But anyway, like the idea of it, for him at the very least, because he's a movie critic, he would, for every day of December, he would upload like like short review of him talking about something Disney related. For the longest time, it was just movies, and then once he started to dwindle those down, he started to branch into like TV shows, video games, just other mediums, like things that are connected to Disney. And I thought that that concept was really cool, even from when I was young. So 2 years ago, I decided, hey, like there are a lot of films that I haven't seen, a lot of Disney films that I haven't seen, and some of them are like or were at the very least the animated classics. I've seen them at this point because of this concept. So it is really time consuming, and it's really hard to do this, especially as I get older and keep getting busier. But the last two Decembers, I've made it a point to every single day in December watch something that's Disney related. Good friend of mine 2 years ago helped me put together a full calendar of what to watch. She's a Disney master. I'm actually going on a trip with her to Disney World in just a couple months now. So she helped me put together a list. She showed me a lot of stuff, like movies that I hadn't seen, when they were like also like shorts and documentary episodes and all that type of stuff. Like that was really really cool. And I made it work. Last year I put together the list almost entirely myself. Like she gave me some ideas, and I put them to a randomizer though. And I this time, instead of doing like shorts and docu series wrapped in, I made it strictly movies for 2024. And I put it to a randomizer. I would just spin a wheel every single day, and it would tell me what I was going to watch. And that was hard because certain movies were like 3 hours long or something like that, and I would have to try and figure out how am I going to work this into my day with everything else that I got going on. But I like the challenge, and it also forced me to stay with my schedule, stay with my routine, and I didn't miss a day, and that always made me feel good. Last year I was watching most of them like late at night though, so I was dozing during certain ones. But I got a lot of favorites out of doing this. Again, like films that I got over the last couple of years. That's where I saw Curse of the Black Pearl, like I had mentioned. That was part of it. Um, I hadn't seen Up or Wally, and those have become two of my absolute favorites. Got to revisit. I did a couple revisits in there, so like a Goofy movie was awesome. I got to experience the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Got to properly sit through a showing of The Emperor's New Groove and all that type of stuff. And then other ones that I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much, like even like the original Sleeping Beauty ended up being one of my favorites that I watched. Atlantis, The Lost Empire, I think it's called. That one was also really good. So this year, I've already put together my list of what I'm going to do for this Disney December 2025. It's still going to be really hard. I'm still going to use the randomizer. I don't know how I'm going to make the time for all of it, but there are certain ones that I am really looking forward to watching. And as a musician, the fact that I've never seen The Sound of Music, or don't know like basically any lyrics from The Sound of Music outside of like from Re Mi or something like that, I gotta just go get and do this one of these days. Sound of Music is on my list for Disney December, but we'll see if it's one that gets picked. I didn't just do 31, so one for every single day. I put 34 on so that it keeps me in suspense, and I'm just like, okay, well, which ones are going to be left over, and we'll have to save for next year or something like that. And I think that that's a fun way to do it. So there's that too. That has helped me getting to a lot of the films that I haven't seen, and that's just in the Disney realm though, because obviously a lot of it stretches beyond, well beyond the confines of Disney. Certain other ones I've gotten to experience the Indiana Jones trilogy, and I do say trilogy. I don't care about the fourth or fifth one. Those those can wait. Those can wait. The original trilogy, I only watched that for the first time 2 years ago. And then just any other number of films and stuff like that. So I have I didn't talk any about the Marvel Cinematic Universe in this episode, and that's because I gotta save that for another time. I got a lot of things to say on that series. It dominated my life for a long time, so another day I'll talk about all that stuff. And yeah, so more or less that's why I wanted to call it quits with this episode. Last thing that I'll say, I guess, in terms of movies, is that I am starting to come up with a list of ones that I just want to see and just haven't gotten to as yet. And don't need to like specify like, okay, well, it has to be Disney, it has to be done in December or something like that. It's a recommendation from someone else. Like there are other films that I just want to watch and just haven't been able to watch, like one way or another. I'm like, okay, well, that's something I want to see. First one that comes to my mind on that is How to Train Your Dragon, DreamWorks, the original one, not the recent remake, because I really don't care about any of these remakes that have been like just flooding the film industry for since I want to say Disney really started to phone it in with like Beauty and the Beast 8 years ago. Just nothing but remakes. The original How to Train Your Dragon I want to watch, and I'm going to watch one of these days. So that's just the start of my list of like films to get to. I Like I said before, I'm open to suggestions of films that anyone else thinks that I should watch, that I haven't yet, or even if they're films that maybe you just want me to re-experience in a way. It's just like, hey, what do you think about this one or something like that? Like pitch that to me. I'm more than open to it. Again, like I said, just dial it back. Like don't feel like you need to like throw it in my face, because more likely than not you're going to do more damage. I'm going to be less likely to watch something that is like someone screaming at me like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever. You need to check it out." So, anyway, as long as you don't do that, I am open to suggestions. Um, like I said, hopefully I'm not making a whole lot of enemies with some of these films that I haven't seen as yet, or even if I've seen them only for the first time within the last couple of years. It's like at least I watched them. You can't say that I didn't. You can say that for all the ones that I haven't seen, but give me some suggestions. I'm open to that. And with that, I'm going to call it here. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. Again, I hope that you continue to enjoy your November. Stay warm if it's getting colder and colder and all that type of stuff. We're approaching the holiday season, and I will have some things to say about that as we get closer, especially since Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's are all Thursdays this year. So, going to be recording on those days. I'll definitely have things to say. Until then, I'll catch you in the next episode, everyone. Take care.